Guys, ready?
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays. They work in your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hey, Nate, you'll go ahead and just roll the ads really quick.
Suzanne's Paparazzi Jewelry, 24/7 shopping available. 160920 is the code. Show her some love, like she showed us, from all of us here at the ASAP Network.
There we are. There we are. Well, Trey and Jonathan, your boy Ace is back. He is back in the.
Thank the Lord.
Yes, I am back. I am here. Trey, I got your back, boy.
Thank
your
you.
back. Ace is back. I'm ready to rock and roll. And so tonight, we are going to have some lit topics. But before we jump to our topics, Trey, how are you doing this wonderful evening?
I'm doing a lot better than I was last week. I'll tell you that. Getting ganged up on by 3 Laker fans, even though I am a Laker fan, but I'm just speaking the truth because the show is Speak the Truth, and y'all ganging up on me and just
exactly.
But whatever. There's never here. And I got a message from Mr. Freddie. You did not make me moonwalk, buddy. I got a text message saying I destroyed you, my friend. I'm just saying.
All right. And then, of course, how you doing tonight, Mr. Jonathan Mathis?
Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm doing good. I'm doing well. How are you guys doing?
Oh, man. It's great to be back, man. It's great to be back on Just Say the Truth. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I've been waiting for this for a while to get this going again. All right. So with that, how about we go ahead and we jump into our first topic? And so this week, I decided to go ahead and make up the topics because I want to. I'm like, you know what? I want to throw out some good topics. Now, we all know last year that, Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl. We saw that, Tom Brady kind of signed an extension. And so at this point in time, everyone's still contemplating saying, how long is Tom Brady going to play for? Is he going to play till he's 45 or is he going to play past that? But the question is this. Is this the year that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should draft his successor for after he leaves? Should they draft his successor? And Trey, I'll start with you.
Good question. They're not going to do it in the first round. I think late second round, I think they could pick up a Kellerman, a Trask, someone in that area to watch. Someone who's not going to be first round. And I think in the second round, you're going to get that second or third round. You're going to get that quarterback, like I just said, out of Mount of Texas A&M or Trask out of Florida, who had a great year in Florida this year. Actually, a Heisman Trophy kind of a year until the end of the year where he kind of fell at the face of the earth. I think if you bring in one of those young bucks in, I think that you could easily see Tom Brady work his magic, and see, because he's only going to play 2 more years. He's only going to play till he's 45. That's what I'm betting, unless he wins more Super Bowls and he stays healthy and he still looks as good as he does. He might play till he's 50. I don't know. Tom Brady only knows. But yes, they need to sign, because I don't even know who their backup is. I mean, that's how bad it is. I don't even know who their backup is right now.
So their backup is actually Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah, so they needed a successor because Blaine Gabbert's not that good. I mean, even though he's probably one of the best Jacksonville Jaguar quarterbacks, but that's a topic for another day.
Right.
But no, I think in the second, they're not going to draft anyone in the first round. I think they're going to draft the second, third, or fourth round. I think that's where you're going to see like a Kellen Mond, Trask, or someone, the kid out of Stanford, I forgot his name. I think you're going to see that. Someone who's a good quarterback, but still needs to learn something in the NFL game. And I think Tom Brady can and that's what Tom Brady does. He teaches the how to be a winner and how to be a professional. And I think they'll learn a lot. I think that's what I actually think that's what's going to happen this year.
There's a lot of speculation saying that if Trey Lance drops to number 32, he's sitting on the board, that they're like the Buccaneers could potentially draft him. And I'm like, I just don't think that Trey Lance is going to drop to 32. I mean,
no. You have the New England Patriots, who I think Trey Lance would be very great at New England Patriots, or I think Denver Broncos might take him. He ain't going to fall out of the top 15.
No.
Well, no, it's because when you look at the quarterbacks this year that are going to go in the first round, you have Trevor Lawrence, you have a Justin Fields, you have Trey Lance, and then Zach Wilson. He's obviously going to go. Is Zach Wilson going to go number 2? Or is Justin Fields going to go before him? I don't know. But with that anyways, Jonathan, I'm going to go to you. Will the Buccaneers draft Tom Brady's successor this year? It doesn't have to be the first round. Just will they draft him this year?
And as of right now, the Bucs still have at least 2 more years left of Tom Brady. He still has a lot left in his tank. I don't think they are so concerned with drafting a quarterback in the first round. I think you might see them in the later round draft a quarterback, maybe like what Trey said, Kyle Trask might be on their radar, somebody like that in the later rounds, someone that they can develop later on, and someone that could learn behind Tom Brady. That would be great. I think that would be great for Kyle Trask to learn behind someone like Tom Brady. Kyle Trask is a good quarterback, but he's not yet polished. And I think Tom Brady can be a significant mentor to him and could, show him some tools and help him develop over time to be a great quarterback. But do I think they waste a first round pick? Absolutely not. I think they addressed another need. It definitely won't be quarterback because they still have Tom Brady under contract for, the next couple of seasons. And they look to run it back with Tom Brady as their starting quarterback. But I do think that they would like to get another quarterback. So when Tom Brady does leave, that guy will be ready to fill those heavy shoes.
So this is the interesting thing, though, too, is that, you guys talk about Kyle Trask, which, from what I've seen in college, he seems like he's got talent. But the thing is that when people talk about Kyle Trask, is people talk about, is he a product of the system? Is Kyle Trask a product of that Florida system? So does Kyle Pitts make Kyle Trask better? And a lot of And Pitts was brought up a lot by being like, is it Pitts that's actually making Kyle Trask better? I don't know. From what I've seen, Kyle Trask, I agree with you on the one part, Jonathan, that no, he's not fully polished yet. He still has some polishing left, but I still think he's going to be a decent quarterback. I don't think it was Pitts that made him what he is in college. Okay, because if you want to go down that road, you can look at Mac Jones and say, okay, that guy had so many weapons on offense, and so you want to sit there and tell me that Mac Jones is so spectacular when you want to say that Kyle Trask is a product of Pitts? Heck no. Mac Jones had so many weapons around him. It's crazy. Smith and Waddle and then Najee in the back, like it's crazy how many weapons he had. Now Mac Jones is probably going to go in the first round too, and I don't know why I spaced him, but he'll go in the first round also. But yeah. Trey, it looked like you want to say something.
No, I was totally agree with you. I think Matt. I mean, I'm not trying to go NFL draft right now because I just did an NFL draft show.
Well,
But
yeah.
I just think I like Trask. I just don't think, and I said Trask just because I think he's going to be a second round quarterback or a third round quarterback. But honestly, I think that kid out of Stanford, I think he'll be a great fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He's a great quarterback, but he still needs improvement. And I think Tom Brady is going to get him over the hump and show him how it's done. But going back to Mac Jones, I guarantee you Mac Jones is going to be a bust, whoever picks him up. Him and Zach Wilson. I don't trust either one of those quarterbacks. I really do. I said it. You go back and I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it out of Zach, the kid out of BYU. But Mac Jones, like you said, he had Devontae Smith who separated so well with the defensive backs. Me or you or Jonathan could have thrown the ball to him and made it. I mean, let's just be real. Devontae Smith was a Heisman Trophy winner for a reason. I mean, if you look at Mac Jones didn't throw a perfectly good ball to all. I mean, and then you had Jalen Waddle. You had all these great wide receivers. So let's don't say like Mac Jones is the best quarterback out of Alabama. No, he's not. I don't think he's that going to be a great quarterback. I think Mac Jones would be a good backup quarterback. I don't think he should be going in the first round. But I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Mac Jones could prove us wrong, though.
Well, that's what's good about the NFL draft is people prove us wrong every year, and we just make a prediction.
He's been well coached under Nick Saban, and Nick Saban's guys have tremendous success at the next level.
Question: name me one good quarterback besides Joe Namath that came out of Alabama. Under Nick Saban.
Yeah, there really wasn't anybody.
There really wasn't anybody, but
that's what I'm saying. So Nick Saban doesn't make a good quarterback. He makes good teams, and he had all the great 5-star recruits. And you saw that with Tua Tagovailoa. I hope he has he had a horrible, not a horrible year. He just didn't impress me as much as I thought he was gonna. Maybe because of injury, and he just getting back into it, that hip stuff like that. But Jalen Hurts, he had a good couple of games, but then he kind of stuttered out the last. It's too early to tell, but Nick Saban has never had a good quarterback come in an NFL draft.
No.
He's
got great other position players that's done pretty well at the NFL level.
Mostly defense. Alabama has defensive stars. That's a lot of what they are. So it's like Trey. It's like you said. I don't want to go too far into NFL draft here. I just know that there's potentially some quarterbacks out there that Tampa Bay could look at in round 2 and be like, okay, we'll go with them so they can learn behind Brady. Or maybe if Tampa Bay got lucky enough to have somebody fall to 32, maybe. If they're sitting there at 32 and they're good enough, they might. But I think that they're going to try and address some other needs first.
I mean, let's just face it, Adam. They're not the Green Bay Packers. They're not going to draft a quarterback in the first round to make Tom Brady. They're not going to pick a quarterback in the first round to pay him that money. They don't want to pay him first round money. That's why they're going to wait in the second round. No quarterback, whoever falls, they're not going to take at 32 because whoever's in the first round they're going to want to play right away, and then they can't do it behind Tom Brady unless he gets hurt.
All right. So moving on to our next topic, which is still NFL. So our next topic is actually about in the same division, surprisingly, but it's the Carolina Panthers. So we saw some stuff going on with the Carolina Panthers. You know, last year their quarterback was Bridgewater, which the Panthers, when they went out and signed him, the Panthers were like, oh, Teddy Bridgewater could be our future. Now what happened? Teddy Bridgewater, he's not there. And now what did Carolina do? They go out and they trade for Sam Darnold. And then their next move that they did was they actually went out and got defensive help in A.J. Boye. So with trading for Sam Darnold and signing Boye on defense, is Carolina moving in the right direction? Do you trust Sam Darnold enough to be the future quarterback of this team? And Jonathan, I'll start with you on this question.
I mean, how did he do with the New York Jets?
Well,
how did he do? How much talent did he have around him?
He didn't really have help.
That's the thing. So maybe he's, walking into a new situation now that could probably serve him, better than what happened in New York. Maybe he goes to Carolina and we see a different Sam Darnold, one that's more productive, one that can, turn out to be not necessarily a top tier quarterback, but a decent quarterback at best that can carry the team. Look, this is a guy I watched for a very long time, living here in Southern California. And when he was at the college level, there was a lot of questions about him. He definitely has the arm strength. He definitely has the ability to throw the football. But where Sam Darnold tends to screw up a lot is not only overthrowing the football, but making reckless mistakes with the football. He has a tendency to turn over the football a lot, and he's going to have to clean that part of his game up. If he could clean up that part of his game, maybe Sam Darnold can, be more effective at the quarterback position. But Carolina obviously traded for him for a reason. They obviously see something in him that a lot of other people may not see in him. So we'll just have to see how it all plays out for Carolina. I know Carolina has a pretty good coach over there who has done who can do a good job grooming quarterbacks, and maybe he helps with Sam Darnold's development. We don't know yet. But was this a great landing spot for him? Yes, because it's a change of scenery. And now we can see what he can do with another team.
I mean, so one thing I will say that Sam Darnold has now that he's never had before, Sam Darnold has a bad man in Christian McCaffrey. Like, Christian McCaffrey is a star. That dude's a stud. And so that was one thing. So he's got a running back that he's never had. And I don't want to hear people come out here and say, well, he had Le'Veon. But you know what? I don't want to hear anything about Le'Veon Bell, because once Le'Veon Bell sat out and came back, he was not that same running back that he used to be. You can't even say that Le'Veon Bell right now is on the same platform as Christian McCaffrey. It's not even close. And so, yeah. So right now, one thing that Sam Darnold's going to have in Carolina, what he didn't really have with the Jets, is he is going to have a little bit more help with the Panthers than he did with the Jets. And especially, he's going to have a fantastic running game. That Christian McCaffrey with the all-around back, catching from the backfield, running, pass blocking, everything. Christian McCaffrey is a do-it-all guy. Do I like this move, though? I mean, I want to say that Carolina is moving in the right direction, but I'm still not completely sold on Sam Darnold yet, and that's only because of the turnovers and the stupid mistakes he makes. So if he can clear that up, I might trust him a little bit more, but right now I'm still 50-50 on whether I'm saying that Carolina is moving in the right direction or not. I want to see a little bit more out of Darnold. So let's see what he can do with a few weapons, and I'll be able to tell you then. But Trey, I'll go to you.
I guess I'm the only one in this boat. I actually like Sam Darnold right now. I think he was the only good player on the New York Jets. He had no one on that offense to help him. Yeah, Le'Veon Bell, but Le'Veon Bell was not the Pittsburgh Steeler Le'Veon Bell. Let's just be honest. I think this is going to be a new setup. I think this is going to help him, a new scenery, like Jonathan Mathis just said. I think that it's going to be great for him to get him out of New York, get out of the spotlight. He ain't going to be in the spotlight like he was in New York, where he's going to have all the media pressure and all that. Carolina, kind of a small market media, as you would say. You're not going to have all the fame and the fashion. I think it's going to be. Then you have Christian McCaffrey, who is a beast, a running back. He can do a swing pass behind him, make guys miss, make him look a little better, make him feel comfortable, throwing the ball down deep. Now we'll say this: in the draft, they need to go out and get a wide receiver, somebody else besides Roby, to help him out on the offensive side as well. But their defense, with getting Boye, helped them out. They're moving in the right direction. That was a question. They're moving in the right direction. They are, and a lot better than what the Jets. I don't know what the Jets are doing, but I'm just glad Sam Darnold is out. But just because Sam Darnold was in New York, the Jets organization, we don't know what he is, right? We really didn't get to see him much. And he was hurt. He had the mono thing. He had he had an injury. But now we get to Matt Rule, the head coach, who used to be at Baylor, had a pretty good offensive mind head coach. I think he saw something in Sam Darnold. I think it's a right move. I think they're trending in the right direction. Now it all depends on the draft and where they go from here. If they don't draft very well, then it's going to be the same old. But if they draft very well here in this upcoming draft in 2 weeks, I can see the Carolina Panthers being a lot better than what they were last year for sure.
So I think what's funny about this, and I don't know if you guys saw it, but Sam Darnold actually posted a video on Facebook that when his family and friends found out that he got traded to Carolina, his family and friends actually surprised him by throwing a surprise party because he got traded from the Jets to Carolina. So they're like, come home, and he gets there and everyone's like, yeah, you just got traded away from the New York Jets. And everybody was making him feel super happy because like, yeah, man, you're out of this atrocity. You're out of this mess. And so Trey, the one thing is that I will say, just say the truth on this, which is completely the truth. I don't know what the Jets are doing. I have no freaking idea.
No one does.
Because they said that Sam Darnold was the future, and now all of a sudden he's gone.
Well, to go back to that point, the regime right now in the New York Jets organization is not the ones who drafted Sam Darnold. It's a whole new.
Correct.
So they wanted to start fresh. So that's why the Jets have never got a quarterback. I mean, going back to Alabama and see who their quarterbacks were. Who is the Jets quarterback? Vinny Testaverde, can't say Mark Sanchez because the defense carried that team to the AFC Championship game. They haven't had a great quarterback. I mean, Vinny Testaverde maybe. That's what I'm saying.
Mark Sanchez was decent his first couple seasons.
Not really. I mean,
all he did was hand the ball off.
Mr. Butt Fumble? No, I mean I can't. So you have Sanchez who wasn't that good. You have Geno Smith who was supposed to be that guy and he didn't do nothing.
He was atrocious as well.
That's I mean, so they really didn't have anything. Nothing, man.
They had so many heartbeats.
The last decent, I'm not saying great, but the last decent quarterback they had was the year that they started Ryan Fitzpatrick. And they went 10-6. That was the last decent quarterback they had besides Darnold.
They have game managing quarterbacks, really.
But who knows? It's a new regime here in New York. Maybe they're turning the tide around. I mean, I don't know. But all I know is that's why I don't like who the quarterback out of BYU, William, whatever his name is.
Yeah, Zach Wilson, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I don't like. That's why I think he's going to be a bust because he's going to go to the New York media hype. He's going to be criticized everywhere, and he's not going to have a good season. That's why I think he's going to be a bust. I hope I'm wrong, but I still don't think.
And that right there could just shrink your confidence level, man. That could
absolutely.
That could take so much out of you, man. That would suck for that kid because he's going from BYU to the New York media, and he's not going to know how to deal with all of that, And then that's a lot of pressure on one guy, particularly a rookie that's coming into something so different from what it was before, So, yeah, you're right, Trey. You make a lot of sense there.
What's funny about it too is I actually have a buddy of mine that considered himself a Jets fan for like a very, very long time. And then he came out and was like, you know what? The Jets are an atrocity right now. We're so bad. So he decided to jump ship. Well, when he jumped ship off his fandom from the Jets, I asked him, what ship are you jumping to? You know what team he chose to jump to? He chose to jump to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, Lord. Oh, God.
So he went from the Jets to Jacksonville.
Yeah, but at least Jacksonville they have a plan. Let's say that. They have a plan. They have a great head coach. Now they have Urban Meyer.
Yeah, but they're also one of 4 teams never to reach the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they're brand new. They're one of the brand newest teams in the NFL, though, too. Don't give me that. I mean, they're not like the Cleveland Browns. At least they make it to the AFC Championship game in recent years, unlike the Dallas Cowboys.
Right. All right, so now we're going to jump to our next topic on the NFL side. So when we look at the NFL side, we touched a little bit on Christian McCaffrey now. And last year, we saw some running backs that were flat out balling. So everybody talks about, if you could start an NFL franchise, what quarterback would you start it with? but I don't want to say quarterback, because, we talk about those all the time. So let's give a little bit of love to the running backs, and say if you were to start an NFL franchise, which running back would you take? And so since Trey went first on the other one, Jonathan went first on the next one, I'll go ahead and I'll start out with this one. My thing on this one, for me, it came down to two, and it was really, really close. The two that I was thinking of was either A, was Christian McCaffrey, or 2 was Derrick Henry. And I was really, really stuck on both of them, and I'm like, which one? Because Derrick Henry's just – the dude's a beast. The dude is a flat-out just beast. Ran for over 2,000 yards last year. The dude's virtually unstoppable. So in the end, when it came down to it, I did it. I chose Derrick Henry. I did. I put him at the top of my list and said if I'm starting a franchise in the NFL, I'm going with Derrick Henry. And just because to me, I trust Derrick Henry in the backfield. He's so big. He's barely ever hurt. You can't tackle him. If you go high, he's going to run you over. If you go low, he's going to run you over. It takes several people. And the dude can just do it all. He can do everything. And so Derrick Henry, to me right now, I have to put him up there on top as probably the premier back in the league right now. And Trey, I'll go to you next.
Certainly you can't go wrong with either one of those two. You could probably put Barkley in there too. Barkley can do a lot of things too, but he's coming off a gruesome ankle. What was it? ACL tear or something? I can't remember. Yeah, ACL tear. So you don't know how he's going to come back from that because they always say it's a year after it takes 2 years to recover and stuff. So honestly, dude, I couldn't go wrong with Henry, but what did it for me, I was with you, Henry or McCaffrey. It's McCaffrey for me. The reason is, Henry can run you over and everything like that, blah, blah, blah. But McCaffrey can do so much more than just be a running back. He can also go in the slot and be a wide receiver. He can run the ball. He can run over. You can run around you. He has a lot more speed than what Derrick. It takes a little while for Derrick Henry to get the motor running, But he hit 2,000 yards last year. He's a great back. But I think Christian McCaffrey does a lot more for his team than what Mark Henry does. There's been plenty of times where Mark Henry only had like 50 yards rushing and stuff. But Christian McCaffrey might give you 50 yards rushing, but then he might pop off for 150 yards receiving, So that's the differences. But you can't go wrong with either one of them if you're me. If you had asked me 2 years ago, I would have said Ezekiel Elliott because he had the same poise, the same thing as Christian McCaffrey. But that guy's just too chunky, and he got signed, and he should never got signed to that. And now he's just falling off the face of the earth, which I never think he should have signed. If Barkley didn't get hurt last year, I would put Saquon Barkley in there. But right now it's Christian McCaffrey. He just keeps getting better each year. Even though he got hurt last year, I still think he does a lot more than what Henry does. Henry's probably the better running back, but overall talent-wise, I think Christian McCaffrey is the one.
Yeah, but Trey, when you talked about Christian
Mark Henry again, I'm sorry. I did not mean Mark Henry. Derrick Henry.
So, I was there with you on that, but the only reason that I gave the slight edge to Derrick Henry as opposed to everything else I said is because, his little bit of the injury bug that he gets, it's because if I'm starting a franchise, is which guy can I trust more to be on the field every week? And so to me, I'm like, probably Derrick Henry. I think that he could be out there every week. And
well, let me ask you this: if you're a season ticket holder, would you rather have Derrick Henry, or would you have Christian McCaffrey to go watch? Who would you rather go watch?
It's close. It's
not
so
for me.
close.
It's Christian McCaffrey. That's just me because I like the air raid. You can't go wrong. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just going to take a different argument. I just think Christian McCaffrey can do a lot more than what Derrick. And you're right. Derrick Henry stays healthier, and I don't know how because he runs over everybody and takes punishment like everybody in the world. But I just think Christian McCaffrey has a right to. If he gets a better offensive line this year, if he gets a better wide receiver, and he doesn't have to carry the load all by himself, I think he'll have a breakout and a better year than what Derrick Henry's going to have. That's just but you can't go wrong with either one of them. I was torn between both of them too.
It's that Derrick Henry stiff arm, man.
Yeah, that guy is. I tell you what, if a guy's coming at me, I'm not tackling him. I say, Coach, you go out there and tackle him. You can take me out. I'm not tackling this dude.
Executive decision. I'm not doing it. All right, so
I'm making a career choice here.
So, Jonathan, I'm going to you. What do you think?
Come on, guys. It's Nick Chubb, man. This
Oh,
guy.
give me a break.
Look.
No.
Listen. Hey, you said your statement. Let me say mine. Look, he changed the dynamic of that Cleveland Browns offense. He has, been a huge player for them in their offense. Chubb has the size. He has the power to be an effective runner. He has been an effective runner. He has the ability to find the rushing lanes. And, he understands how to run. He's very quick. He has the stamina to stay on his feet. And, he had a good year last year. I think that Cleveland Browns backfield, took a lot of pressure off of Baker Mayfield, and it made his life a lot easier. That offense was exciting because of that running game with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb together. You put those two guys together, and you have this dynamic backfield that looked like an unstoppable force at time. I like Nick Chubb. I think he's a tremendous running back, and I think he has all the tools necessary to be, a top running back in this league. And I think he will, if he stays healthy, I think he will have a great season next season.
So you're talking about the Cleveland Browns offense was exciting last year? It was boring. He was running the football.
Those two guys made it really exciting.
Okay. Well, let me ask you this:
you don't have to win games to be an exciting offense. You don't.
No,
you don't have to win games.
They won games. I'm not saying that. Dallas Cowboys did it in 2018. I mean, they won all those games with running Ezekiel Elliott. I'm not saying all. I'm saying that. Yeah, I love winning football. But what I'm saying is, does Nick Chubb have the season that he had if Kareem Hunt wasn't there to take some of the load off for him too? Because Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey didn't have that luxury. They had to carry that team. They didn't have a backup where Chubb could go off on third down and Kareem Hunt can get you.
Kareem Hunt's right there.
Right there. So that's the only. Nick Chubb is probably a top 5 running back in this league.
Oh,
but he didn't have to carry. He didn't have to carry the load as a Christian McCaffrey or Derrick Henry did for their running back core.
Yeah, because if you were to ask me my top 5 for running backs, it'd be, and it's in no order. I'm just saying that my top 5 would probably be Henry, McCaffrey, and then I'd probably put Dalvin Cook in the top 5.
Cook.
I'd put Nick Chubb in the top 5, and then I'd put Aaron Jones in the top 5. So
you're a homer.
Well, no, I'm not saying it because of the homer. Yeah,
I'm joking with you, Adam. I'm joking with you. I actually I'm not a Packer fan. Everyone who watches the show, no, I'm not a Packer fan. But yeah, I would put him. But honestly, dude, Shaquille Barkley, dude, if he comes back from this ACL tear, he's a top 3, top 4 quarter running back as well.
It's a tough list. It really is. It's a tough list.
It's just funny. Go ahead.
He's had the injury bug too. That's why I was scared to put him up there, because I'm like he's been hurt a lot.
I agree, but it's just funny. 3 years ago, we all be putting Ezekiel Elliott on this list, and the running back is not what running backs were back in the day.
No, it's a devalued position now.
Yeah, and it's funny though too, because a lot of people forget about Dalvin Cook. When people are making a top 5 list, like, people forget about the guy, and I'm like, Minnesota would not be Minnesota without Dalvin Cook.
Hey, I think he's okay with that though.
No, I mean, Dalvin Cook has Kirk Cousins, baby, for Brandon Herrera. Kirk Cousins has got an extension on a contract. He's a quarterback, man.
I would be okay with that. If you don't put a lot of spotlight on me, I'm fine with that. Just let me play my game.
I will say this: Dalvin Cook deserves that contract, though.
Oh, that dude's a beast. That dude's a beast.
Yeah.
Dalvin Cook is a flat out beast.
Out of that offense. That offense doesn't do nearly what it did last season.
No, definitely not. Because Dalvin Cook is the one who helped them start winning games when they were struggling at the beginning, and then Dalvin Cook came back and started playing. They started winning games, and I'm like, that's definitely not Kirk Cousins. That's Dalvin Cook.
No, he's the engine to that offense. He drives that offense, definitely. Without him, Vikings are not an average team.
They're not an average team, right? Trey's like, yeah, I got you on that one.
Nope.
I got you. So it sounds like two of us have Christian McCaffrey and Derrick Henry up top, and Jonathan, you got Nick Chubb up top. And Nick Chubb is definitely top 5. You know, there's no debate on that. He's top 5. I just can't put him at the very top yet. So let me ask you a question then, Jonathan, since you have Nick Chubb at the top. Right now, where would you put Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey?
Derrick Henry's second and Christian McCaffrey. Wait, Christian McCaffrey is close to me because both of those guys are unstoppable too. But I'm going to put, since Christian McCaffrey be jumping all over people, running over people, I put him second. And then I put Henry. I put Derrick Henry. I think I'll put him third. I mean, it's tough for me to rank these guys because they're all special talents, right? I mean, they all are tremendous running backs and they're good at what they do. But I guess I'll put McCaffrey second, and then I will put Henry third.
All I know is Christian McCaffrey gave me a lot of fantasy points a couple of years ago. That's all I know. Yeah. That's why.
I was actually, so the one thing I was angry about last year was I chose Christian McCaffrey. Okay. I'm like, yes, I get the first pick. And I was like, let's go with a little bit of Christian McCaffrey. I chose him. And then the dude gets hurt. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. I was like, really?
I still remember his spectacular Rose Bowl game. In fact, I wrote about that game. That was incredible.
Yeah, which it's funny because my buddy that was actually a Jets fan, when the Panthers selected Christian McCaffrey, he's like, I can't believe the Panthers just took Christian McCaffrey. This guy is overrated. And he's going to be overrated in the NFL. And I'm like, have you seen the guy play in college? And he goes, well, yeah, but he's definitely overrated. It's the system. And then a few years in, I'm like, do you still feel the same way? Do you still feel like the guy's going to be overrated? Because I don't think he's overrated.
That guy's too explosive, and he's a crafty running back. He's just too explosive. He has the ability. That guy, and when he's in open field, he is completely dangerous. Unstoppable.
Oh, absolutely. All right, so now we'll jump away from the NFL side of things. Now our next topic is MLB. So we have one quick topic on MLB. All we're going to do is an MLB hot take. And, Trey, good old Trey, you get to start out with your MLB hot take.
I'm going to be perfectly honest with all my fans. I'm really not in MLB mode right now. I'm in NBA. I just got done with the Masters. I just got done with March Madness. I'm slowly tricking into MLB, but I'm just going to talk about my favorite team, the New York Yankees, and what is going on with y'all. Y'all cannot start off this slow. It sucks, especially with Boston, who I picked to be last. It's first place in your division. What is going on with y'all? No, I'm just joking. But anyway, my surprise is the Boston Red Sox right now. I thought they were going to be dead last in the league as of right now. I know it's still only April, but Boston. Alex Cora got his 200th win the other night. Congratulations to you. But Yankees, baby, come on. I picked y'all to win the World Series, and y'all losing to Toronto, which is a good team. You're losing to Baltimore. You're losing to Tampa Bay. You're losing all these division games and all these tiebreakers. Step it up. That's all I got.
So what's your hot take, though?
My hot take is that the Yankees suck right now.
Oh, okay. Jonathan Mathis, do you have a hot take?
I'm going to go with a player, guys. I'm going to go with Orioles outfielder Cedric Mullins. I don't know if you guys have paid close attention to this guy because he's not in either of your guys' market, but man, he is tearing it up right now. He is on a tear right now offensively. His bat is one of the hottest bats in the league right now. He's an absolute monster, leading the league in hits. This kid is incredible. He has a lot of potential to be great. He's a great outfielder, and, he's very productive right now. I like this young Orioles team. I think they have a a great young group of guys who are coming up. They're growing fast and they're getting better each game, it seems. But no one has stood out more than Mullins. The guy is incredible. Fun player to watch.
Oh, you know what? You know what's interesting? J.R. Alexander, when you took that hot MLB pick right there, man, you just took my pick, because I'll tell you what, my hot take right now is that Kansas City Royals out there are actually playing pretty well right now. And so my hot take is watch out, because I think they're going to compete for a wild card spot. When a lot of people are saying that they would not, my hot take is I think they're going to be right there at the very end competing for that final playoff spot. I think they're going to be there. I think they are.
Well, and I also go this way. I think the Los Angeles Angels being in first place in the West is actually a hot top. I hope it stays this way, because Mike Trout deserves to go to the playoffs, because he's a great ambassador for this league. And I think that I picked the Angels to be a surprise team. I picked them to be a wild card, but if they keep this up, they can easily win that AL West too.
Yeah, and finally, the Angels have put some talent around him. Now he has more bats in that lineup. Ohtani is getting at the right time. He looks really good, guys. I'm very impressed. Not only with his bat, but with what he has done on the mound as well. And then you look at Anthony Rendon, who they signed a year ago, coming over from the Washington National after winning the World Series. He's a big bat in that lineup as well. It sucks that they lost Dexter Fowler to that torn ACL. I think that was a huge blow, because I think his veteran presence brings a lot to that team. No, is he the best hitter? No, he has not been the best hitter over the course of his career, but his veteran experience brings a lot to that clubhouse. But the Angels, yes, I'm with Trey here. I think they could surprise a lot of people. And this will be great for Mike Trout, because he deserves this. It's about time that the Angels reach the playoffs and try to make something magical happen.
I can't believe Nate just wrote that comment. I cannot believe he left that. Actually saying that the Rangers were going to finish with a 500 record.
Oh, God.
What?
They're not going to the playoffs.
No, but they're not going to even finish with a 500 record.
No, I don't think so. I think he said that because he lives there.
Well, his two favorite teams are the Rangers and the Rockies, and they both are terrible.
Yeah, they're both trash. Both of them. The Rockies. Look, the Dodgers see the Rockies 19 times a year, and every time we play them, we own them. So I know. And speaking of the Rockies, we're about to play them right now, actually. And they're going to lose tonight. So
before I forget, Trey, I was going to ask you this question before I forget, okay? I think it was in your picture, if I remember right. Were you wearing a Rockies? Yes, you were wearing Rockies stuff in your picture, correct? Was that you? That wasn't you.
Mistaken identity.
Mistaken.
Mistaken identity.
Yeah, Will, right? Okay, yeah, Will. It must have been Will.
No, I wouldn't. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. When I was a kid, I had a Rockies hat and stuff. Well, because I lived in New Mexico and they don't have a professional team in New Mexico, so we always got all that's when the Colorado became an expansion team, and we got to watch all. So I mean, I was always a Yankee fan first, but then my little brother was the Rangers. But then the Ranger fans go and piss me off, so I had to find a new one. And I'm serious, the Ranger fans piss me off. Because here they are, like they've never been good. They never made it to the World Series. They beat the Yankees. It's like Yankees suck and bragging on me, and I'm like, really? That's how y'all gonna be? I think you're all bad, and now they're not even relevant anymore.
But the Yankees have been to the World Series. They just came up short twice.
Not that time though. That's what I'm talking about. Not that time when they beat the Yankees to go to the World Series. They start bad mouthing me, and I'm like, I had y'all's back through all those crappy years, and you're bad mouth. No, forget y'all. Same thing with the Astro fans. Yeah, I'm sorry. Y'all barely won your first World Series. I'm just saying, don't get off my lawn with I'll take my 27 championships back.
The Astros needed trash cans to win the World Series.
All right.
But I will say this: it's April. Let's chill out. It's 162 games. Teams that usually start off hot usually die off. It's about mid-July through late August, and that's when you need to start getting hot. So that's just one off on all these.
Yeah, because remember a few years back when the Mets started like 15-1, and they restarted on that ridiculous 15-1. Everyone's like, "Wow, this Mets team is really, really good." And then by All-Star break, they had a losing record, and everyone's like, "What happened here?" Well, that kind of stuff happens. But so we're going to shift off of MLB, and we're going to go into our final two topics, which is NBA questions. So our first NBA question that we have is when we're saying what has been surprising to you in the NBA so far, what team, and it doesn't have to necessarily be good. It can be good or bad. It doesn't matter. But Jonathan, I'll start with you. What team has been the most surprising for you?
Please don't say the Lakers.
Oh man, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to say the Lakers.
Oh, good God. Oh, I thought we were going to get through one episode. Oh.
I'm gonna have to go with the Lakers here.
Oh my God.
Only because so many injuries,
Oh my.
And that's what's holding them back. That's why they that's why they're in the current position that they're in right now.
Oh man.
I'm just kidding. I knew I would hit you guys. No, Utah's got to be the biggest surprise right now in the NBA. Look at their record. They're currently in first place. Michael Conley is shooting the hell out of the basketball, making 3-pointers. You have Donovan Mitchell who's continuing to emerge into a star guard in this league, and I think he deserves a lot of credit for the direction that team is heading in. Utah just looks really it's spectacular right now. They look like the team to beat in the West. The thing is that sustainable? Will they be able to carry that over into the playoffs? Will they be able to do what they're doing right now during the regular season in the playoffs? But for me, all jokes aside, it is the Utah Jazz right now. That's the most impressive team, particularly in the Western Conference, with all that they have accomplished in a conference that is fairly deep and loaded with star power.
Trey. And Trey's going to pick the LA Lakers because he wants to.
Hell no, I'm not talking anything about LA Lakers.
Joking, guys. I'm kidding.
No, I got two actually three. I mean, there's been a lot of surprise and disappointments. Honestly, I'm going Golden State. I picked them not even to have a chance to make the playoffs. And what Steph Curry's doing and Steve Kerr is doing with only Steph Curry being the shooter on that team, and they're on a little winning streak right now after losing a lot, but now they're look like they're finding their stride again. Steph Curry just became the all-time leader in Golden State Warrior history. Then to even beat with Klay Thompson being down and only having one pure scorer on that team, and right there at 500, right next to those. I know they're 2 games under, but they're beating the Thunder right now. They're going to probably win that game. Them being in the playoff contingent, being in the mix in the playoff contention is just surprising to me. But I'm going to go Phoenix Suns. I expected them to improve, but I didn't expect them being this good so early. I think Chris Paul is going to make that big of a difference where I probably just stole John Ace's thing. But I'm sorry. I thought they would be a playoff team because the way they ended the season last year. But, man, with Chris Paul accusation, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a jump. But, man, he's turned that team around. And I still think they're one forward away. They're one they might make some noise in the playoffs. And going to Jonathan's point, Utah, yeah, it's a nice Cinderella story, but they got to get it done in the playoffs. Like y'all told me last week, right? They got to get it done until you prove me wrong. Utah's the Denver of 3 years ago, right? When Denver had the best record, and then they crapped out in the second round. I think that's what Utah is going to do again this year. But for me, it's got to be the Phoenix Suns being in number 2 right now in the Western Conference, the loaded Western Conference, and then the Golden State Warriors somehow staying afloat and be in playoff contention without Klay Thompson. I think that's surprising to me.
Well, thank you, Trey. So
That's what I'm here for.
hey, I did that to you a couple weeks ago. I kept stealing everything you wanted to say. So, but the Phoenix Suns was actually the first thing I was going to say, because I was expecting the Phoenix Suns to be good, but I was not expecting them to be this good. And like the Chris Paul trade, that's been crazy. How well like Chris Paul going there, how well that has worked out for them. And it's interesting too, because people say, should Chris Paul be in the MVP consideration? No. And I would say no, but he's helped the Phoenix Suns. And
hey,
picking 3 and
whatever.
6.
I'll get you on Saturday, buddy. Don't you worry, JR.
All right. So Phoenix Suns, they were there. But then the other one that I was saying for the bad that I was more kind of surprised about, I talked a little bit about it a few weeks ago, but actually the Boston Celtics. I was actually expecting the Boston Celtics to be a lot better than what they are. Just for some reason, the Boston Celtics are just not – they're not firing on all cylinders like they should be. The Boston Celtics should be a lot better team than what they are. And something right now with the Boston Celtics just not working. They're just a broken team. They gotta figure something out, because this team's a lot better than what they're playing. I don't know exactly what it is.
It's obviously chemistry that's not taking shape.
It's not. It's not.
Well, that's what Adam's saying is this team's been together. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Smart. They should have been number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference this year.
Maybe it's time to break.
Yeah, and they're just not. It's not working.
They have no height. They have no height. They have no one to guard the rim.
No, they're undersized.
They need a big man.
That's part of the problem, but I think they lack a bit of chemistry too. But definitely been undersized is a big problem too, and it has plagued them for quite some time now.
Yeah, but that's why I said Boston, because Boston should be way up there, and they're just not. So that's one team that right now is definitely underachieving. They need to go out. They need to get a big man. I think if they go out and get a big man, it's kind of interesting because I've always been a Hayward fan. And personally, that when they got rid of Hayward, I'm like, I don't think they should have done that.
Well, Kemba Walker hasn't turned out to be that guard that they expected him to be when they signed him as well. He's been a disappointment, and then he can't stay healthy, and he's either a hit or miss. He's too inconsistent for me.
Yeah, it is. Because Kemba Walker it's like you said, he was supposed to be that big signing that he's going to help us. And he just hasn't. But Charlotte with Hayward has actually gotten better. I've always been a Hayward fan, so I think Boston actually should have kept him. I think that their chemistry with him could have been a lot better. But Boston has to figure something out because, I mean, they're going to be in the playoffs. They're going to be there. They're not going to be a fantastic seed. They're not going to be like a 1, 2, 3, or 4. With the way they're playing right now, they're going to get maybe a 6 or 7 with the way that they're currently playing. And they're going to be one and done in the playoffs because they got to figure it out. And right now, it's just not there. All right, so moving on to our final topic, sticking with the NBA. As we saw this year, there's been a lot of these buyouts. So, you had Blake Griffin, you have Andre Drummond. And so now people are talking about, okay, if a player gets bought out on their contract, should the NBA prevent them from signing with better teams? Like, so obviously a star like Drummond, or he's not really a star, but people still say, oh, it's a big signing with Blake Griffin, even though it really wasn't. Should the NBA be able to step in and say, hey, these superstars, so-called, should not be able to sign with these top tier teams. What's your thoughts on that? And Jonathan, I'll start with you.
No, that's crazy. They should be able to sign wherever they want to sign. Give these guys a chance to win. That's what you play the game for, right? To win. If you play on a team that's under 500, that's not reaching those standards, you want to play somewhere where you have a chance to compete and contend, right? So I don't think they should change anything. I think they should leave it as is and give these players an opportunity to sign someplace where they might want to play and where they feel they have the best chance to win.
Which I want to agree with you, but here's the problem that I've been running into a lot, though, is that I hear a lot about it, especially when it happened, with the Brooklyn Nets, when Blake Griffin went and signed there, and then Aldridge went and signed there, and everyone's like, oh, everyone's going to the Nets. This is dumb. Everyone is signing there. And then Drummond signs with the Lakers, like, oh, okay, cool. Well, the thing is I'm like, okay, are you happy that they're signing there? Are you happy that they're signing? So to me, you got to look at the situation and say, if you're going to be okay with, let's say, Drummond signing with the Lakers, if somebody's going to be okay with that, but they're not okay with Griffin and Aldridge signing with the Nets, I mean, you got to kind of, you can't be hypocritical when it comes to that. So people have to figure out, are they going to be okay with it? Because you can't be okay with one, but not be okay with the other. And so Trey, I'll go to you on that.
People are so outraged with the Nets too, is because the Nets were already a more stacked team, and they already had, a team of three great superstars. They had the trifecta going on there, and then they added to it. So I think that's why people are more outraged about that one than they are with the Lakers. And that's not even being biased. That's just,
Trey, you go ahead.
Man, I don't have a problem with this. This is just something people just want to. This is Twitter NBA, right? This is drama NBA. This is what NBA loves. Let's just face it. What's a buyout, right? It's for majority of the time, it's for aging players who are not going to have. They want to go out and win a championship. Let's face the facts. LaMarcus Aldridge, if he was a great NBA player, Spurs would never bought him out. What has he done for the San Antonio Spurs the last 3 years? I'll wait. He hasn't done nothing. That's why the Spurs let him go. Blake Griffin, what has he done in Detroit? Adam, what do you do in Detroit? Didn't hardly play it, right? I'm just saying.
I was mad when we traded for him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All Blake Griffin is a dunk, and he can't play defense. He can't shoot the three very well. All it is big name recognition. These aren't the same players as you remember back in the day, back when they were younger. They're making no different. Now, the only one is Drummond for the Lakers. That was a big one. And I feel bad for Drummond because he didn't want to go to Cleveland. He was a part of a trade or whatever, but he did it right. And Lakers signed. But if these teams have the Brooklyn Nets, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Clippers, whoever the case may be, as long as they have the money to sign them, these players want to sign a mid-level exception. Why? I mean, are you going to fault these players for trying to go get a ring? Tracy McGrady never got a ring. He tried to chase one. All these other players try to chase. I mean, look at Karl Malone. They all try to chase when they get older. That's what they want. They just want a ring. They already made their money. So I don't have a problem with it. They're not going to make a big difference. I still had the Brooklyn Nets coming out even without Blake Griffin and LaMarcus Aldridge. I have no problem with it. These are not super. It's not a super team that everyone says it is.
It's not.
It's a great, Blake Griffin might give you one good game in the series. Okay. Aldridge is trash. He's always been trash. Why I think the Spurs got rid of him. The Spurs don't get rid of anybody. That's why they got rid of him, because he's trash and they should never signed him.
They didn't bring Blake Griffin in to be a scorer. They brought him in to collect boards and get rebounds. That's why.
Yeah, but he can't stay healthy either. I mean,
that's another thing with him too.
He hasn't done nothing. So that's what I'm saying is they're not the same names. That's the reason they're getting bought out. I don't have a problem with it. But what I do have a problem with is these teams talking to these players while they're still under contract before the buyout and knowing where they're going to go. That's where I have a problem with.
Oh, Magic Johnson was a repeated offender.
Yeah, Yeah, and all these other people are getting. It's just wrong. It's they got to honor their contract. The teams shouldn't be able to talk to other teams about, and players shouldn't talk to other teams while you're still under contract. But that's the NBA, right? You get away with almost anything, but
No,
it's just a little thing.
And this is where I'm going to call Freddie out on this, okay? This is where I'm going to call Freddie out on this one. I'm calling Freddie out on this one because he came out and said that he felt like KD was trying to recruit like James Harden and Irving, and he was not okay with that. But then it came out that LeBron James was trying to recruit Curry. And Freddie's like, oh, yeah, that's my man. He's out there. Mm-hmm. He's recruiting. I'm like, wait, you just said that it wasn't right that the other guys are doing it, but you're saying that it's okay that this guy's doing it. So it's okay for one, but not okay for the other?
It's okay for his team, his player.
Right, yeah. So that's why I'm calling you out, Freddie, saying you can't do that, bro. You cannot do that. If you're going to be okay with one, you got to be okay with them all.
Yep. Can't be hypocritical.
I mean, it's a totally different, the buyout thing I have no problem with. It's mostly, 95% of the time, it's for these aging players who are like on these crappy teams. I don't have a chance and they want to go, and they're respecting them and let them try to go win a contract and saving money. I get all that. It's these talking like the LeBron Jameses, even the Kevin Durant's, and talking to these other players while they're still under contract. And this could be a topic for another show, but I hate this feeling like everyone's giving the pass for these players, like saying, like James Harden in Houston. He just signed a multi-million-dollar deal, and now he's not happy in Houston. Well, you signed the multi-million-dollar deal. Why are you signing these 5, 6, 7-year contracts when you can just do what Kevin Durant did? 1, 1, and 1. You don't have to stay there. You play 1 year. If you're not happy, you get to leave.
But
you sign the contract.
That's the new norm now. They want to be loyal 1 minute, and then the next minute they change their mind.
Well, that's just a topic for another day. That's just another beef I have with it. It's all it is, and it's kind of hurting the league a little bit, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. But like we seen in the 2011 Miami Heat or 2012 Miami Heat team, superstars don't always win. Team chemistry in basketball usually always wins. So even though the Brooklyn Nets are having the super team, it's still anyone can.
Inconsistency wins as well.
That's the Dallas Mavericks. You only had one superstar.
Loyalty is out the window now. Loyalty is completely out the window. It is gone. It's no longer a thing. Loyalty will not be in sports anymore. It's just not there. People. I
think the last athlete you're going to see is Steph Curry and the Warriors, and I think that's the last. And Klay Thompson.
I think he's going to stay in Portland.
I don't think so. I think when he gets older, they're going to push. I think he's going to go somewhere else and try to get that ring. But yeah, Damian Lillard is very loyal. But I think those three. I think this generation, right, you're seeing right now, it's it. It's over. You're right, Adam. I think those are going to be the last players you see.
Yeah, it's gone. All right. Well, that comes to the end of our show. So before we go ahead and wrap it up, Trey, if you have any remaining thoughts, you got 30 seconds to go ahead and say whatever it is you need to say.
Okay. I was going to go a little love everyone kind of thing, but I'm just going to say this. I just want to say happy birthday to my daughter on Friday. She's turning big 3, having a big celebration. So I just want to say I love you, baby girl. You make our life what it is today. We couldn't imagine this world without you. So I love you, baby girl. Can't wait to celebrate your 3rd birthday.
And Mr. Jonathan Mathis.
Hey, I just want to say congratulations to the lucky bettor out there who won $3K after a wager that he placed on an NBA parlay. I just think that's incredible. You know, that's wonderful. If you can make that much betting on sports. I'm not usually the type that bet on sports because I've never been a big gambler, but I will have a beer with you and talk sports. I will join you at a bar and we can have a good time. I will write about sports. I'll podcast. I don't usually bet, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I thought that was incredible. If you bet on sports, you know, best of luck to all the guys out there that take the time out of their day to do DraftKings and get involved in all that stuff. That's wonderful. To to wrap this show up, I just want to thank you, Ace, and I want to thank you, Trey. This was a wonderful show. We had great guys on tonight. Well, watching us. And the topics were wonderful. The content was great. Thank you guys again, and we'll talk soon.
Absolutely, right? So I was excited to be back once my reffing season ended and there was no more games. Like, all right, I get to join my boys again on Just Say the Truth. I'm excited to be back. I will definitely be back on Fridays now too, so I cannot wait for that. So Trey, it's exciting to be on a show with you again. And Jonathan, it is a pleasure, my man, to finally be on a show with you. I've been waiting for it forever. And Freddie reached out to me when you joined our network and said, hey, Jonathan wants to do a show with you. I'm like, absolutely. Tell him I'm down. I am game. So I am there. And, of course, thank you to all of our viewers. And thank you, Nate, for being in the background, my man. Thank you for doing all that production work. So with that, we will see you all again on Friday for another episode of Just Say the Truth.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, never the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.